Hey guys, Lawrence here from Unicorn Reviews with something I really don't like to do, which is an unboxing and first impressions video, because I'm guaranteed to get something wrong. Like for example, I am using different microphones, but I also don't know a whole lot about the specs of these. Today though, we are doing an unboxing of the SimLab XP1 pedals. The reason I'm doing this and that I'm not just waiting a month and then showing you my review is I bought these with my own money. They are fairly expensive. And there's only one video on YouTube right now, so I'm gonna milk the absolute crap out of these. First up though, let's get the box open. All right, box is open. Let's see what's inside this box. I hope you can see at least. Is that in view? I have no idea. I'm bumping the camera though. There we go. So it's a box inside a box, but luckily the box inside the box is in some plastic. So let's get this one out. You guys are so lucky. Not only do you get an unboxing, you also get an unbagging. Alrighty, so as you can see, despite me complaining that they're expensive, these are 500 euros at the moment, discounted from 549, which is strange because they just launched. They literally just launched. So either they've overestimated how many of these they would sell and they're already on discount, or they're just being nice. So I have the two pedal set. Again, I'm really poor, so I can't get the clutch version, but you can get it extra later on for like 200 euros. The box is fairly heavy, but we'll go around the box anyway. So you just get some nice art on the box. I don't know if SimLab actually sells in stores, but if they do, then this will really stand out. It's really nice packaging so far. The top is black, the bottom just says SimLab, so that's my serial. And over here, aluminium construction, custom integrated load cell, Hall sensor for the throttle, multiple elastomers and multiple springs. By the way, I already broke my Fanatec pedals from a previous review. These rubbers fail, so you can get these springs from Sim Race Engineering. It's from the UK. You'll pay a lot in custom fees because, you know, Brexit, but these really make a big difference. So if you're still on the Fanatec Club Sport load cell, this is amazing, especially the blue spring. Anyway, plug and play, I'm sure about that. Highly adjustable and easy to mount. I hope it is because, well, I'm using the SimLab GT1 cockpit and it's compatible with both Windows 10 and 11. Let's check the other side. It just tells you what's in the box. Also a little nice drawing. You get cables with it, you get springs, dampers, throttle brake. Mounting hardware, that's nice. And a control box. I did not know it actually came with a control box because despite there being only one review on YouTube, I did not watch it. Just, you know, keeping an open mind about these. The box is fairly heavy. UPS said it was about 3.1 kilograms and they arrived really quickly because I live like an hour away from SimLab's HQ. So of course they would arrive really quickly. Oh boy. A quick start guide. I'm sure it's just plug in the cables, bolt everything down and download drivers or something. Even though they say it's plug and play, you can probably do a lot of magic in the drivers. This is actually something that I'm wondering about. Why is this sold as SimLab and not as Grid? If anyone knows, let me know in the comment area because it's a first look unboxing sort of thing and I did not do any research because why would I? Now the top here has really thick foam. So they actually do really spend a lot of money and effort on packaging. Really loving it so far. And then in here, well, here are my new babies, I guess. In the middle here is very light, I'm guessing plastic control box. There's, let's see what's in here. USB, I think it's some strange USB port. It's not USB-C, it should be. And then on here you have your throttle, your brake, your clutch, and two anything else external thingies. Get telephone jacks for these, but then EXT1 is an RJ45 and these are RJ, what are they, 12s or something? 4 mounting holes on here, but this is just plastic, no full aluminium everything. Maybe that may give you some problems with interference, but we'll find out in the review, which is coming whenever I feel like I have enough time on these pedals. I'm not rushing reviews. Next up in the box, USB cable, telephone cable, and yeah, who cares? Next up in the box, a springy boy. So this is to give you your first stage of braking feel, I guess. That's one springy boy. This is a much stiffer springy boy. So 2 springy boys. Are there any other springs in here? No, I don't think so. And then I'm guessing the third spring is already in. So you probably have like soft, medium and hard. What else do we have in here? Telephone cable. What looks like a miniature ice hockey disc. We'll find out what that's for sooner or later. These are some rubber bushings, so I guess these are elastomers. They're not labeled in any sort of way. Oh, they are. We got 70A shore durometer, we got 50 and... Well, two of them are labeled at least. So we get a 50, a 70 and I'm guessing a 90 or a 30, who knows. Next up, a spring for the throttle pedal. I'm guessing this is like a hard spring and then the one installed is like a soft spring. I actually prefer a really light throttle. Maybe, you know, that'll change if I mess around with different springs and I'll find a new personal preference. And then a good old bag of hardware. So you'll definitely have the hardware to mount this to your 80/20 rig. It also comes with nuts, so you can mount it to just about anything. So thank you, SimLab. It's really nice that you include this. I know, you know, these companies can say like, oh, but you can choose your own mounting hardware because we don't know what system you're running. Bullcrap. This is awesome that they included. Thank you very much. Next up, the pedals themselves, for which I'll just take them out of the box. They seem like very nicely installed in this laser cut foam. I think it's laser cut. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if this is actually like hand cut, because it's not like the nicest cutting. So I say laser cut because it usually is. I would not be surprised at all if someone actually went in here with a hot knife and actually cut it out manually. But yeah, I'll take these out and we'll just go over the pedals one by one. Right then, I'll start with the least important pedal, in my humble opinion, the throttle pedal. The reason I say it's the least important one is because you can make any throttle work, really. And with the way we drive GT3s on ACC, I mean, you could probably just use a button on your keyboard as a throttle. So not the most important one, but it is incredibly nice. The finish on this is really good. There's like no sharp edges anywhere. All of this is metal. Like this is like a solid proper pedal. I already saw these actually like 2 months ago at SimLab when I was at their HQ, because as I said, I live super close by and actually picked up my GT1 Evo and its seat at their HQ, which was a really nice experience. But yeah, very, very nice construction on these. Totally, I can see their worth from a pricing point already, even though I haven't even used them yet. So they could still be absolutely horrible to use and poor quality, but the material and the feel of it is amazing. Looking at adjustability though. 2 positions, I think, for the height of your pedal plate. So that's right here. It also looks like you can change the angle of the pedal plate on the pedal itself. And then you can also adjust the angle over here. So you can really work with compound angles and mess with all the little screws and dials you want. There's more little dials here. I'm guessing you can adjust your preloads on the spring, even though preloads should always be the absolute minimum that you can get away with. There's multiple positions for the spring here. I'm guessing the higher up you go, the more linear, whereas the lower you go, the more like two-step it feels. It will get pretty regressive, I guess, at the end of the spring curve. The throttle, I'm guessing right now, has the lightest spring in it. There's not a whole lot of travel in here, and obviously you'll see that later on when I'm driving, but there's not a whole lot of travel in the throttle, and honestly I don't think you need more than this either. So yeah, that all looks very good. So nice design where the entire pedal body rotates around this front pivot point here. You can lock it here, you can make some fine adjustments here, you can do something with this thing and then you can change it. I'll have to figure out how that works. There's a dial here. It looks like a dial. If it looks like a dial, tastes like a dial, it's probably a dial, but little washer on here. I'm just gonna admit I have no idea what this does and I'll have to look in the manual. Never mind, no need for a manual. Basically, this blue dial is just a screw in, and the more you screw it in, the further it sticks out here. And then on the inside of the pedal is a little tab, and the tab touches the screw. So this is basically how you set how much travel you have. If you take the dial all the way out, you'll have maximum travel. Rotate it all the way in, you'll have minimum travel, and there's a sort of locking collar on here so it won't adjust itself. Pretty nice design, pretty simple, but it should work, I guess. And then here at the back is your RJ whatever number it is port for your telephone cable. Everything else just looks really nice. Big old slotted mounts here, so this will definitely fit just about any pedal plate that you want to use it with. But that's it for the least important pedal. Let's move on to the most important pedal. Like with the throttle pedal, you can adjust the angle of the entire assembly at the back, but you can also do fine adjustment of the pedal plate angle, and you can choose linearity by moving this one up or down. There's also another hole here. I'm guessing this is maybe for some upgrade later on, like a little damper that they'll sell separately, because why take all your money at once when you can take it at 2 times? Now, interestingly, it also has the little dial here with the locking ring. As you can see in there, it does absolutely nothing. That's just there for looks. I'm always the first to call that out. I hate it when something is not functional and just there for looks. But yeah, it is what it is. Something I also don't really like all that much is this cable dangling here. It's not going to get pinched or anything, but I mean, there's a lot of room, and they could also just route it into the back, I guess. So yeah, also a little bit of exposed wire there that's not like sleeved or rubberized in any way, but that's just nitpicking, because this is like really high quality stuff. It actually feels amazing to hold, even though it's really heavy. Yeah, I'm gonna take a thumbnail picture right now, and then I'll install it and talk to you more about how it is like to use them. All right then, guys, so I have everything installed. There's a little bit of tidying up to do around my room, but who cares? I have the pedals installed, and the mechanical part of the installation was a breeze. It's 8 bolts, 12 if you have the clutch. Plenty of room here on the slots to mount it to just about any spacing of any pedal plate. I also mounted the controller box underneath. Looks super tidy. The nuts are a little bit hard to reach because you're supposed to put the bolt head on that side, but I wanted everything to be like nice and symmetrical and flush, and you know me, I'm just, you know, a difficult person when it comes to that sort of stuff. I found the pedals too high, probably also because of the angle, and as you can see, I've angled them back, so that really doesn't help with the height of the pedal plate. I have size 45 feet, and with them all the way back without a pedal plate, the faces are too high, and they are in the lowest setting already. Perhaps I can flip them upside down, but I don't know for sure about that. So what I've done is I've taken the pedal plate, heel kick plate that came with the Fanatec Club Sports. They only have 2 holes in them, so I support the back with computer fans because they're exactly the right thickness. And then I have a keyboard wrist rest, and like this, it's the perfect height for me. Now, the pedals were detected in ACC right away, no driver needed, but of course you want to be able to set up the brake force curve. So I have it set up pretty firmly. I should probably put a slightly stiffer spring in if I'm going to run this amount of pressure, but I guess for now it'll have to do. I'll read the manual and all of the setting and tuning options later, because I just want to do some driving on these. And that's what I'm about to do. So we're already at Silverstone in the 296, sorry about that. And I'll put you all on a tripod, do some driving, do some rambling as I go along. All right then, guys, first driving impressions on this pedal set, the SimLab XP1. As you can see, I've driven for 1.5 laps on these pedals. By now, there's basically zero setup that's gone into it. And I'm driving without headphones, so I'm really bad at driving without audio. So far, the throttle pedal has the maximum travel set up, so the screw wound all the way back, and it's feeling alright. It's feeling incredibly smooth. And I guess that's the main thing. I know a lot of people will want a stiffer spring, and the stiffer spring is in the box, which is like 2.5 meters away from me. But yeah, I'm going to leave it like this. Where I do want to put in the stiffer spring is in the brake. You can kind of hear a little click as you go through the complete mechanical travel in the spring, and then you go into the elastomers. And at the moment, the bite point for my brake and the spring isn't tuned very well. You have to really make sure that they're adjusted to each other, and that's not yet the case. But there's 3 springs in the box, so I'm sure I can get something at least very close to my liking. So I'll do a lot of fiddling about with that, reading the manual 10 times over, making sure I get my setup perfectly fine, making sure I'm not using like a weird kick plate with a palm rest for a keyboard on top as a footrest, and just dial everything in. And once I've got a couple hundred hours on these pedals, or at least once I feel that I know what I'm talking about with these pedals, that's when I'll make the review, because I hate doing videos like this. As I said, I'm just milking this for content because I spent 500 euros on a pair of pedals to drive an imaginary car.